Hello, hello, Team Impact. How are you guys? I am going to give you guys a few seconds to pop on because I literally hit go live as soon as it turned 9 o'clock. And if you guys are anything like us on our team, my team, it usually takes a few minutes for people to come on, even though I'm like, yeah, we're starting at 9 o'clock. People usually come on like 10 after. So, hey, Carla! So I'm super, super excited to be chatting with you guys. I'm going to wait for just a couple people to pop on. Hopefully we can get started because I want this to be worth your while and help you guys answer questions and stuff. Carla, if you want to invite people to this video, go ahead and feel free. I actually did that on your video last night. So just so you guys know, Carla actually did an amazing training on our team. From my team last night, and she gave us all of her best tips, you know, in her business, and we appreciated her so much for that. So I know that my girls really loved you, Carla, so thank you so much for that. So, anywho, I just realized I was talking for about a minute long, and I didn't even introduce myself. So, my name is Patty. I'm an independent Scentsy director. Hello, Chris. I see that there's one. I don't know if, like, Facebook Live is weird. It shows people are on, and then they're either off, but then they're still there, or whatever. I don't know. But, anyway, yeah. So, hopefully a few people will pop on. But I know, Carla, if you're watching this, you can click the little person, and then you can just add people that way. That's usually what I do, and then it sends people a notification. So, just a FYI if you didn't know that. So anyhow, I'm super excited to talk to you guys tonight. Again, my name is Patty. I'm an independent Scentsy director. It sounds so formal, right? Independent Scentsy director. I've actually been with Scentsy just about a little over a year and a half. I joined in October of 2015, and I actually joined just as a side note. I joined coming off maternity leave with my second baby, and I knew I didn't want to go back to work, and so I saw my sponsor posting about it, and I was just like, okay, what is this awesome, you know, candle-ish that's going on. I saw her going on all these free trips, and not for nothing, the trips really weren't an interest to me, but I think it was more so, like, she just looked like she was having a lot of fun. So, anyway, I reached out to her. She sent me a sample, made my whole home smell amazing, and I was like, I need to get on this. So, I sort of signed up on a whim. I'd say I noticed her, like, I reached out to her, like, over the summer, and then by October, I had signed up. So, just a couple months. But from the moment I joined, my business pretty much took off. Except for the first month that I was a consultant, and that was because I literally didn't do a single thing. Like, I waited a whole month to have my launch party, which I highly advise not to do, because I didn't reach my shooting star. I didn't, you know, I feel like that was a wasted month for me, in my opinion. So, anyway, long story short is, from that moment that I had my launch party, my business took off, and I think that it was mostly because people seen my excitement for it. And I actually, right after I joined, I mean, well, technically I consider, okay, so I joined October 1st, but my launch party was November 1st, and that's the moment that my business took off. So I technically consider that was the time that I started. So November 1st, and then the very first person I recruited was actually November 23rd. So just a couple of weeks into that. And I'll be honest with you, she approached me about it, and it was because of the way I was presenting Scentsy. So that's what we're kind of going to talk about tonight. I'm happy to hang out with you guys, and I'm so excited. So I tend to ramble. I know that Carla came on here and was like, you know, speaking from the heart, which I totally admire. I love to do that too. I usually do that on my team page, and then I watch my viewers drop, and I'm like, yeah, they don't want to listen to me anymore. So I made bullet points. That's just how I am. I make a bullet point, and then I'll just go. So I'm happy to chat with you guys tonight, all right? So the first thing you want to think about when you are recruiting or sharing the business opportunity, you know, because the thing is, well, we're going to get into this in a second. Let me not get ahead of myself. So you want to think about your Scentsy why. This is something that you hear all the time, or if you're a new consultant, it's something that you're going to hear. You know your why. Know why you're in this, because that's going to be the thing that's going to be pushing you, you know, no matter what. so for me, when I was coming off of maternity leave with my second baby, I knew I didn't want to go back to work, or at least full time. I live in New York, so taxes are high. That, working from home at that point, I was like, yeah, it's not going to happen. But at least if I could work part time, it would be that much, help us a lot. And Sensei actually allowed me to work part time for almost a full year, and that's like, for the fact that I've even been able to do that, like my whole working career, I've never, ever worked part-time in my life. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Anyway, now a year later, I'm actually able to work from home. So point being is that my initial why coming into this was because I didn't want to go back to work, right? That was in those moments that I felt discouraged. I thought about that. Well, I need to hustle right now because I don't want to go back to work. So what do I have to do to make it so it doesn't, that doesn't happen? And then once that need was fulfilled, like now I work from home. As of August 2016, I'm actually working full-time from home, and I work my Scentsy business from home. Hello, Mary. So I, like now that need was fulfilled, but now I have to think about, my new why, and that's something that's, it may stay the same for a bit, or it may change, but I feel like something, no matter what it is, whether it changes or not, like you have to have a reason why you're doing this. Because if you don't have like your eye on the prize, you're just going to get discouraged and you're going to give up. So now, because my business is at a point of, as successful as I've become, I'm working from home. My business is honestly my team. Like seriously. I mean, obviously my children, I of course do this for my children, but it's really for my team because I love to help people build their own businesses and be successful. And it sort of came out of like nowhere. I didn't anticipate any of this. One of my very first questions to my sponsor when I joined was, do I got to recruit people? And she was like, no. And I was like, do I got to recruit people? And do I got to go to weird conventions? Like, I legit thought Scentsy was a cult. I even Googled, is Scentsy a cult? And now I'm like, yeah, reunion! So, anywho, it's just funny how that changed. But yeah, like, you have to have, a strong why. You have to, exactly, a strong why. You have to, know why you're in this. Now, my business has gotten to a point where my team is a huge motivator for me. Like, I love to help them succeed. So, if I drop the ball with that, if I stop, then it will all crumble. So, hello, Sandy. Hello, Sandy. So, if I kind of drop the ball with that, then it all trickles down is what I'm trying to say. So, they're my why now. And, my business in general is a huge part of my why. I've gotten so far in my business. Like, if I was to just give up now, like, it would just make no sense. Like, I couldn't even picture myself at this point just, like, throwing in the towel. So, anyway, my whole point to that is understand your why. Number one thing when it comes to recruiting, growing your business, you have to have a reason, okay? So I want to talk a little bit about some of the important things that I feel help in recruiting, okay? When you come into this business, you are a essential consultant, obviously, right? Once you sell $1,000, you become a certified consultant, and all is amazing, and you're like, yeah, I got my 5% pay increase, this is awesome, I'm loving life, I'm slinging wax. But that's it. Like, you are now certified, right? When you are a certified consultant, you literally have a cap on the amount of money that you can make. So, I mean, you could go out there and be, slinging 2,000-3,000 PRV if you're having like really great months, which is awesome because you get that 5% bonus, which is really good. But still, like, you have a cap on that. Like, your money is literally only stopping at the amount of PRV that you are personally, doing. You are personally selling. All those parties and stuff that you're getting are literally just coming from you. Once you sponsor somebody, you're now a leader. There's literally no ceiling on the amount of income that you can have. So, oh no, I don't know why it's doing that. I don't know, it seems to be good over here, but it kept on lagging before. Hopefully it's still good for you guys. If that's still an issue for everyone, let me know. But yeah, so there's literally like a cap on the amount of money you can make as a certified consultant, and then once you start sponsoring someone, it's literally unlimited depending on, how big you grow your business, how big, you grow your team, and how much you share the business opportunity. So there's something it's one of my favorite quotes that I've heard. Orville might said it? I don't even know. But I know since I've joined Scentsy, I just hear this quote a lot, and you might have too. But they say that PRV is for today's income. Parties are for tomorrow's income, and team building is lifetime income. And that is so true. So like the PRV that you have today, that's going to set you up, you know, for today. The parties that you get on your calendar are going to set you up and ensure you for you know, your tomorrow's paycheck or next month's paycheck, whatever. But your team building is literally lifetime income, literally. You know, I've had the pleasure since I've been in this business to kind of network with a bunch of different Scentsy consultants, which I absolutely love. I feel like if it's so good to kind of connect with other people, even if they're not on your team, because you can, you know, get to hear other people's experiences and see where they've taken their business. And this is, you know, things like events, reunion, you know, leadership, boot camp, all that stuff is good to be around other people. So I've had the, you know, the pleasure of actually meeting a lot of successful Scentsy consultants who, you know, basically have taken to their businesses to the point of like it makes my jaw drop when I think about the amount of money they're probably making. Like, it's insane. And of course, we are all in this because we get the warm, fuzzy feelings and we love the friendships and this and that. But we all started out wanting to get into this for, you know, to make money, right? So that's really where your paycheck, so to speak, I hate even talking like that, is really where it's going to stem from, is the team building. And of course, all the relationships and the friendships and the, you know, the confidence and all that stuff that you gain in the midst of it, you know, it's all, you know, it's just, that's the best thing that you can do, okay? Another thing that you should know about recruiting is that it's never, ever about you. It's always about them. A lot of times people will say, and, you know, things like, oh man, I can't wait to get my first recruit, or oh man, I can't wait to so-and-so certify so that I could earn, you know, get the credits for the incentive, or whatever it is. Like, don't get me wrong, when you get your first recruit, like, you're like, woohoo, this is awesome, I got a team member, I'm so excited. I don't know what's going on, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to unplug my phone because it's charged, and sometimes I notice that helps. Facebook Live annoys the F out of me. Sorry. So anywho, yeah, like, you know, when you get your first team member, it's really exciting, of course, and even like the second and third, you're like, yeah, I'm growing, it's awesome. But I think once you get to a point in your business where you actually have a mindset or a mind shift or a mindset shift, whatever it is, you know, where you have a different outlook on, you know, how you could actually be benefiting, helping people through Scentsy, I feel like your recruiting game is going to go up a lot, okay? If you focus on, oh my God, I need another recruit, I got to get a promotion, this person's not working, what the heck, like, you literally get negative on yourself and then you get discouraged. But if you treat this as, you know, Scentsy is the type of thing where you can actually help somebody, you know, by knowing how it's helped you, your recruiting game is gonna go up that much more, just because you're gonna be able to share your excitement with them, and you're gonna know what works because you've been through it, and you're gonna be able to help them. Okay, so it's never about you; it's always about them. So just remember that. And another important thing is, you know how I talked about knowing your why? It's super important to really determine their why. Okay, I never ever used to say this when I first started recruiting people. Thank you, Carla. You know what's so funny? I actually, for the longest time, had Heidi and Orville back here from World Premiere. They were the cardboard cutouts. I'm sure some of you saw, like that a whole bunch of consultants had. They were standing there, and I actually just took them down right now. I'm like, no, I gotta find another spot for them. Just because I actually just today started putting up my awards that I probably should have had up for a long time, whatever. But yeah, so. Now I forgot what I was going with. See, I drifted. I tend to ramble. So yes, determining their why, okay? So this is super crucial. I never, ever used to do this. And the moment I started doing this, it was like a game changer. So I never used to ask people why they would be interested in Scentsy. A lot of times I would, you know, be communicating through Facebook Messenger. I'd answer their questions. Then we'd go a few days, I'd answer another question. Then we'd go a few days and answer another. Like, I never asked them their why. Like, the way I used to recruit people when I came into this, I look back now and I'm like, man, if I knew then what I know now, like, I probably would have recruited so many more people. But anywho, I always ask people, when sharing the business opportunity, when talking about Scentsy with, to people who are interested, I say, so what is it about Scentsy that sparks your interest? And the reason why I say that is it's very casual. You want to know why, and you are not wrong for asking them that too, because you want to be able to understand why they want to do this so that you could explain to them how Scentsy could benefit them and put their mind at ease. So a lot of times when I'm talking to people and I say, so what is it about Scentsy that sparks your interest? And they say, well, I could just really use some extra cash. That's when I'm like, girl, I totally understand that. I got into this to make some extra cash, and now it turned into this amazing thing. Like, you would totally love it. I find a way to relate my own story to what it is that they're saying. Or like if I say, so what is it about Scentsy that sparks your interest? And then someone says, well, I could just really use, some girl time. I'm really cooped up in the house with my kids. Like, I would be like, oh my God, girl, I totally understand what you're talking about. Like, we have such an amazing team. Like, the girls on our team are like a sisterhood. You would love it. Kind of knowing why they want to do this and knowing how Scentsy could help them and how it's helped you, and then kind of meshing the two between, if that makes sense. And like I said, I never used to do that. But once I finally got in that mindset, game changer, I'm telling you. I'm so confident about recruiting. Like, I hate even calling it recruiting, but sharing the business opportunity. When I talk to people, I know for sure what Scentsy can do for somebody because I know what it's done for me. It's allowed me to be able to completely quit my job and work from home. And, of course, I'm still growing and I have a lot more growing to do, but I'm able to contribute to bills. I'm able to, have that time where I'm able to get away from, my kids for a bit and get out and make friendships and go on free trips and all these things like that have happened to me. So why wouldn't I want to share that with anybody, So that's why I kind of say determine their why. Knowing their why is just as important as, knowing your own why. So some of the different ways that I recruit, there are tons of ways, okay? But things that I do and have done, I incorporate my business and the business opportunity in almost every aspect of my business, okay? I do it through home parties. I play different games when I'm there. I do like a ticket game where I give them, I tell them to ask me questions, and I give them 2 tickets for Ask Me Anything about a product, 3 tickets for Ask Me Anything regarding hosting, and then I give them 4 tickets for Ask Me Anything about my business. This usually brings up the topic of conversation where they start asking about my, my business, believe it or not, because they want those tickets. So they'll start being like, oh, how many hours a week do you work? Or, do you do this full time? Like, they start asking a bunch of questions. And I love that. I also at home parties, sorry, I have like an itch on my nose. I don't mean to be like touching my face. Also at home parties, which is super crucial, I always share my story, like a in a nutshell type story. Because home parties, first of all, I would take a home party any day. I love home parties. But that's going to be the best place that you're going to be able to connect with people right there on the spot. So as you're sharing your story with them, it's instant gratification. It's not like someone assuming something on Facebook or, whatever. You're right there in front of them. Excuse me. I don't know what's going on right now. So, case in point, a few weeks back, I actually did a home party, and I always share my story like I do, and there was this one particular guest there who, at the end, when I was checking her out, she came up to me and she goes, so let me ask you, how do I get started in something like this? Because I heard you mention that you did this when you came off of maternity leave, and I'm actually pregnant right now, and I'm going to be coming off maternity leave like come September, so I'm looking to do something from home. And I'm like, girl, let me tell you. So something that I said regarding my story resonated with her. Something that I said clicked with her. We related, right? If you think about, the reason why you joined or how you joined, think about the conversation that you had with your sponsor. Was it something that you guys related on? Was it something that maybe they said to you, how Scentsy could help you? Because more often than not, it tends to be conversations where you end up relating with people because you're sharing their story and you've been through those situations. So, like at the home party when she said that, like, because I did this coming off maternity leave, like, she must have been sitting there, and this is the thing, I'm right in front of her. It's not Facebook, it's not a basket party, I'm right here in front of her. So in her mind, she's probably thinking, oh, she seems like a normal person, because I'm just like this at my home parties. I'm literally like, I could talk to anybody. And so she's probably thinking, oh, she seems like a normal person, she's a mom, like, she's, you know, doing this thing. She seems to be having fun. Like, maybe I could do it too. So you never know, you know, how you're going to be able to connect with people. But again, people won't know these things unless you tell them. If I would have never told her my story, she probably would have never approached me about joining. So that's home parties, okay? I also do, I like the left-right recruiting game. I pass a scent circle around, and every time I say left, it goes left. When I say right, it goes right. And basically I tell a story of, like, the money you can make as a Scentsy consultant, kind of. Like, it's like a little play on words. It's like, and at the end, it's like, lady, you can't be serious. You're living in a dream world. You'll never find a job like that. And I'm like, yeah, I found a job as an independent Scentsy consultant, and so can you. And then then they keep the scent circle, and then I actually give them an opportunity packet after, too, which I'll talk about in a second. So I do the home parties. I also do it through customer service. So packaging, everything that I put, you know, in my packaging to my customers, it has my face, first of all. Like, I literally have my face plastered on everything, all of my labels. I have pictures of my family. Like, I have a postcard that says, thank you for your Scentsy order. I don't have any right now. I actually have to order more. But it says, thank you for your Scentsy order, and it has pictures of me and my kids and my husband. Because I want them to know that I'm a real person. And I'll be honest with you, most of the people that I recruit are stay-at-home moms, or people who want to be stay-at-home moms who have children, because we relate, you know. So you don't have to only, you know, reach out to, you know, if you don't have children, don't think that you have to go ahead and start recruiting moms. You have to recruit people who you relate to, okay? So anywho, that's just a side note. But yeah, I do it through customer service. I always have my picture on everything. I have like a wrap card that talks about the trips that I've earned and things like that, because you never know who you could connect to. I could, you know, package an order for someone and put in my brochure that talks about the trips I earned, and that particular person could be interested in traveling the world, and here all of a sudden they see my brochure and they're like, oh wow, look at all these trips she's gone on. Wow, you know, you never know who you're going to connect with. So that's why it's important to share every aspect of your business, you know, regardless of how you're doing it. I always do that. Another way that I love to recruit is, this is another thing for my catalogs. Like, I've put like my little Scentsy story on my catalog, just a like mini version of it. But I talk about, like, in the end, it's like, you know, thanks so much for your support. My home-based business is a success thanks to people like you. My home-based business, like, that's intentional. That's on purpose. I want them to know I have a home-based business, and it's successful because of people like you that you could someday have. So I'm very, very intentional when it comes to incorporating my business, you know, into the things that I do. Facebook parties, okay? I built my business on Facebook parties, believe it or not. My team is all over the U.S., but it's funny because now I honestly hate Facebook parties. Just because, I'm not saying they can't be done, but there's a lot of like back and forth when it comes to Facebook parties, and it's a lot of like hostess coaching, and more often than not, my Facebook parties flop. They're not hitting the hostess base. I could go and have a home party that would hit 500, 600 and up, and I'm lucky if it's just hitting the hostess base on Facebook. But believe it or not, I recruit a lot on Facebook parties because I do Facebook Live, and I go just like this right here. I show them all the warmers and stuff. I literally walk around my office like they're here. I want to give them the best personal, you know, virtual experience that they would have at a home party, except online. But I also do things like this. Let me show you. Sorry. I'm like talking about things. So let's say I'm like, oh yeah, you know, this is a beautiful lampshade warmer, blah, blah, blah. It's $45. Does anybody notice this little dream job available thing right there? I didn't put that there because I don't have a place to put it. I strategically put that there. I mean, I didn't buy it to put it there, but like I just had it and I was like, oh, that'd be good to keep in there so that they could say, hello, dream job available. You know, and of course I have pictures of my kids and stuff. Well, actually, that's just my son. My daughter, I have her picture somewhere else. But like, either way, like that will, you know, is intentional. I do little things like that. Little things to kind of give hints so that I don't necessarily have to say it, but I could kind of project that I'm living this awesome life. Because I'm telling you, especially through social media, it's all about an image. So you have to make it seem like you are living this awesome Scentsy life, and that's the things that people are going to be attracted to. Regardless if you're living an awesome Scentsy life or not, you should be portraying it that way, okay? Other things that I do, I'll go this way, sorry, it's kind of a mess. I'm not going to show you my mess, so I'll hold it up. I was cleaning today. So I'll go live, right? And I'll come right over here and I'll be like, yeah, this is the Country Light Warmer, blah, blah, blah. This is Goldsmith. And then I'll say, funny story about Goldsmith. This was actually my very first Scentsy warmer that I got in my starter kit. It's an element warmer, blah, blah, blah. Like, I love this. It brings back so many memories from when I first started, and it was such an exciting time in my life. Like, how else would they know unless I told them that, right? Then I'm like, oh, and this, like I point up, I'm like, this is actually an adorable, you know, gift that we got from Scentsy when we went on our Disney trip last June, and I was able to take my family on a free Disney vacation. Like, how else are they going to know unless I tell them that, right? And of course I sound much more sincere than I do now, but then I'll go down the line and I'll be like, oh, and this little cutie. And then I'm like, we actually got this at Scentsy Family Reunion. It's our amazing annual convention that we have, and you can tell just how unique our warmers are. And look, it's signed by Heidi and Orville. Like, I kind of just, how else are they going to know that we have conventions, that we have events that are fun? And I kind of talk about it a little bit. Then I'll move on to other warmers, and I'll be like, oh yeah, this one is one that we got when I went to, another event that we had, World Tour. Like, I kind of give a little spiel about it, and then I'm like, oh, and here, this is my family, this is when we went to Disney for free, that's my husband, that's my son, that's my daughter. Like, obviously I sound more genuine than I do now, but again, how are they going to know unless I tell them? So I make sure to purposely, specifically through Facebook parties, do things like this. And I find that when I do that, I have a lot of people interested at that point, because they're seeing me work from home. They're seeing me just like this. I usually do my Facebook parties on Monday nights at 9 o'clock. Kids are in bed. Like, I talk about my children in my Facebook parties. I talk about the fact that, like, I just talk about my business all over when it comes to social media and Facebook and just in general. Another thing that I do, so here, like, normally I had Heidi and Orville in my videos. So normally, like, a few minutes into the video, I'd be like, oh, and so that's Heidi and Orville. You're probably wondering who those cardboard people standing over back there. That's actually the president and CEO of Scentsy. And it's funny because I got that at this latest event that we had in January. It was a live broadcast for all of the new spring and summer stuff, and blah, 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 blah. Like, how would they know unless I told them? Then when I'm talking about the wax, I specifically pick up this one. And I'm like, and it's funny because this is our wax, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, I love the scent. It smells just like buttered popcorn. We got this as an exclusive fragrance when we went to that event called World Premiere. Like, Scentsy loves to give us exclusive fragrances when you attend events. Like, how else are people going to know these things unless I'm telling them? Especially through Facebook, right? Because we're not in person. So anyway, I could go on a whole rant about Facebook and how I love to share the business opportunity, but anyway, the best thing that you could do as far as that goes, like recruiting and even on social media, off social media, is really making a name for yourself. So I've gotten my business to the point where people know I sell Scentsy, and I'll be honest with you, when I first came into this, remember when I said, I asked my sponsor, do I have to recruit anyone? Because I literally did not ever see myself getting my business to this point where people would actually, I'd have repeat customers, I'd get referrals. I would never expect that. But that's because I've been consistent. I have not stopped from the moment that I started, and I have never let no stop me. Ever. Never. When I go to follow up with people, I tell this to my team all the time. I literally do robot status. I do not pay attention if people say no on Facebook, because obviously a lot of us communicate that way. I don't pay attention if they saw my message, if they said no. Like, I'm like, okay, follow up, blah, 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 make a note, check. Follow up, blah, 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 make a note, check, like, on to the next one until I have to follow up with them again. Because if I focus on the people who I get told no all the time, or I get ignored all the time. But if I was to focus on that, then I would be stagnant. I would stay stuck in that, spot, and I wouldn't move on. Yes, consistency is everything. You have to be consistent. So make a name for yourself, okay? A lot of times now, like when if I, like local mom groups and stuff that I'm on, if somebody will say, does anybody sell Scentsy? I have like 5 or 6 people who will tag me, which is awesome. So make that name for yourself by being consistent in your business. Always talk about your business. You don't have to be salesy, when it comes to social media. You don't have to be, salesy in order to talk about your business. The majority of the times on Facebook, the things that people are going to pay attention to are your Scentsy journey, the lifestyle of a Scentsy consultant, you on the way to the post office and dropping off some mail to make some customers happy today, things like that. those are going to be the types of things that people are going to be interested in. They're not going to be interested in you telling them about your, 6-pack of bars that they could buy 5, get 1 free. They're not going to be interested in any specials that you post. Rarely. I mean, I have, and I still do occasionally from time to time, but rarely I will post about a sale or a promotion. Of course, I mean, if we have like a $49 joint special, or if it's like a, transition month, like I talk about, oh, it's a sale going on right now. But like, honestly, like, I have just seen that I get way more interaction on the things where I'm talking about the lifestyle that I'm living as a Scentsy consultant versus those posts. So I do try and limit myself. Plus, honestly, I do so much off of Facebook that I rarely post on Facebook when it comes to, promotions and sales and things like that, because I know on the backside, like off of Facebook, I'm following up with customers to get orders. I'm booking parties. I'm recruiting people. So it really does not, for me personally, I don't need Facebook. But a lot of times people feel they need to be posting on Facebook in order for people to see them, when all you really need to be doing is building relationships with people and making sure that you're following up with them. And if you do that, your business will grow. And then you're going to be happy to be sharing those Scentsy lifestyle things on your page anyway. So that as far as making a name for yourself. But same thing, sharing your Scentsy passion. This is another thing. A lot of times when people have come to me because they wanted to join, I'm not saying that every single person has ever come up to me. Of course, I follow up with people all the time where I've definitely asked people, hey, have you ever thought of this before? But a lot of times people will come to me because they see my passion for this business. They see my passion for the product. I'm consistent. Again, I talk about it all the time. When it comes to Facebook, I'm always talking about my business. Sometimes I'm sure people have unfollowed me. I'm sure people have gotten sick of the things that I posted. But again, if you let that stop you, you're not going to go anywhere. You have to kind of turn that off. When I first started, I was like, oh, I don't know if I should be posting on Facebook. I don't want to annoy anybody. You know what? The only people who you're going to annoy are the people who are not going to be supporting you. And you don't need that negativity in your life anyway. So go on with your bad self and post on Facebook and your business. And I promise, if you're consistent like that and not weird and not salesy and not like, it has to be a combination too. It can't just be, Scentsy, Scentsy, Scentsy. Like, I post pictures of my kids. I talk about other things. Like, today I posted a picture of, like, a peanut butter and fluff sandwich. Like, you have to be posting, a number of things. But everything I post is with a purpose. Like, I purposely will post, oh, registration for reunion open today. I'm so excited. Scentsy consultants everywhere are dancing around because we're so excited for the best event of the year. Like, I post things like that because I want people to purposely see it. I'm very, very intentional in my business. I don't just randomly post on Facebook. If I'm posting on Facebook, it's for a purpose. Of course, with my children, posting my personal stuff, that's a little different. But as far as Scentsy goes, sharing my why, again, that's another thing. Another good thing that you could do on Facebook is like, if you ever promote or you're achieving things, let's say you got monthly sales award, let's say you just, you earned an incentive, post those things. Because again, people are not going to know unless you tell them. I always tell the girls that I bring on, like, when you get your Shooting Star Award, because we're making sure they get their Shooting Star because we're having their launch party. I'm like, when you get your Shooting Star Award, post it on Facebook. When I bring on new consultants now, I say, go live on Facebook and unbox your starter kit. Because that's going to attract people way more than, them saying, hey, I just started a Scentsy business. So anyway, that's a whole other story for another day. But those are just some things that I like to do for social media. Another thing is sharing your why and continually talking about this, because again, you never know who you could relate to. So from time to time, I'll go live on Facebook. Don't be scared to go live. I'll go live on Facebook and I'll share my Scentsy why. I'll talk about my story. Again, I'm always meeting new people. Who's to say that, like, the last woman who I added on Facebook doesn't have children and wants to quit her job just like I did? So share your why. Also, I remember Orville saying this, is most often, I don't remember word for word, but pretty much what he said is that people are going to relate to your struggles more than they're going to relate to your success. So if you are able to share a story where you've sort of overcome something, or, I mean, it could be anything. Like, for me, I wanted to work from home, and I couldn't for so long, and then all of a sudden now I can. Like, I mean, whatever the struggle is, whatever it is, whatever it is. I mean, I could literally think of a million things it could be, but whatever those struggles are, share that with people, because again, that people are going to relate to those things more because they're going to feel like they could do it too. Or they're going to feel like, oh man, she does it, maybe it's not so, so hard. Sorry, I just made a little thing here. Okay, so this is another thing that I think is super important. Sorry, I was just looking over my notes because I completely forgot what I did here. This is really important, I feel, too, as far as social media. I kind of stayed on like a social media subject for a minute because let's face it, we're all on Facebook. The negativity, it is so important to not be negative. And I know how easy it is to want a vague book. You know what I'm talking about? When you're just mad and you're like, and your thumbs are like fast speed. For the longest time, and I have my moments, don't get me wrong, but like, way before Scentsy, I would just like, how on Facebook your time hop comes up, or like the on this day, whatever thing comes up, and it pulls up posts from like a few years ago. I'd have posts that come up where it was literally me ranting for like over nothing. It'd be like, oh my god, this train's so late, I hate that, blah, blah, blah. Like, and I'm like, man, look at that stuff that was coming out of my mouth. Oh my god, it was so bad. So you have to think about that, especially if you were adding people to Facebook. Like, I always add people to Facebook. When I send in someone an order, this goes in their order. And it tells them to tag me on Facebook with their picture. And I'm going to enter them into a drawing for winning a free bar. I just created this on PicMonkey, and I just printed it out. I usually print it on cardstock, but now I have it here. But anyhow, so I do this for like orders. I put this in, if I send someone a sample, whatever. I want them to either post in my customer group or post on my business page, because that's where I'm going to try and gain traffic and then build relationships from there. But anyhow, I always add people on Facebook. So you have to think, as you're adding people on Facebook, what are the first 5 posts? 5 or 6 posts that a customer or potential recruit or potential hostess is going to see on your page. Are they going to see you ranting about, the fact that, The Walking Dead aired and wasn't the way you wanted it to be? That's a bad analogy. I know lots of people love The Walking Dead. But, like, okay, politics, like, we all know what president you didn't want to win, like, things like that. Really try to avoid, being negative, talking politics, cursing, like all that type of stuff, just because, again, if you're trying to attract people, all that negativity is just going to push people away. People are going to want to do business with you, okay? You could be selling anything. We all know and love Scentsy is amazing, but, like, people want to join you, okay? They could go ahead and join any Scentsy consultant if they want, but what is it about you that's sticking out, okay? I'll be honest with you. Not that I would ever leave Scentsy. I'm ride or die Scentsy, but if I was freaking selling dog poop, I'm sure people would come and buy my dog poop from me just because I know that they are going to be interested in me and what I have to offer. So Scentsy, I'm sorry about that. I totally not comparing you to dog poop, but anywho, so that's my whole point. Is like, what is it about you that's going to stand out, that's going to make people want to join you, want to be a part of whatever it is that you're doing? And Scentsy is just the bonus, the product is just the bonus. So that's pretty much social media. Okay, so sharing the business opportunity. This is also important too. Remember when I said that I tend to recruit a lot of stay-at-home moms? So this is important to know your audience, particularly on Facebook too. And I know I keep reverting back to Facebook, but again, a lot of us are on Facebook, and the reason why I talk about this so much is because I do get asked this a lot. I have lots of questions where people are like, oh, what do I post on Facebook? How do I do this? Because everyone's so stuck on thinking that they need to build their business on Facebook. So even though I talk about Facebook, I just want you guys to know that I'm a firm believer in not using Facebook to build your business. A lot of times people will message me and they'll say, oh, I can't get any parties booked. And I'm like, well, what is your strategy? What are you doing? And they're like, oh, I posted on Facebook and I didn't get any responses. And I'm like, that's why. Like, you cannot rely on Facebook. You can't. You could use that to gain some interest, but it's what you're doing after that. Are you following up with them? Are you making sure you're, sending them samples or whatever it is to get the scent in their nose? Things like that, okay? Knowing your audience, though, this is huge. Again, I recruit a lot of stay-at-home moms because I'm a stay-at-home mom. So know the people that you are, quote-unquote, targeting, and I hate to use that word because I would never try and target someone, but, know who it is that who your target audience is, because as you're posting, you're going to be very intentional like that. Like for me, I'll post a picture of like my son sniffing my bars or whatever, and I'll be like, he's my little Scentsy assistant, #work at home mom life, like, so that they know, like, I have kids, I have a home business. I quit my job. I'm working from home, like things like that, because those are the people that I am going to relate to. So know your audience. Also, I always send people opportunity packets, okay? So if you don't know what they are, I'm sure there's tons of ideas out there. I know Scentsy has lots of amazing training. I'm sure Carla has had amazing training. But these are what I send to my potential consultants. Anybody who I have ever had a conversation with about joining Scentsy gets one of these within like 1 to 2 days after our conversation. So what it is it's very simple because I don't want to overwhelm them, but it's basically just a join flyer. But to be honest with you, this really doesn't say much, right? This is kind of a little vague. I mean, you look at it and you're like, oh, okay, that's fun, but more often than not, people are throwing these out, I can guarantee it. But this is a document, actually, Superstar Director Chloe Cox, if you guys know her, I love her. She typed this up a long time ago and shared it with me, and I actually revamped it for like me and my team and like my business, so I'd be more than happy to share this here too, and then you guys can use it or, you know, revamp it how you want or whatever. But it just basically talks about everything that they need to know when joining. Everything that comes in their starter kit. They, you know, the percentages that they can make on their sales up to their team sales. It talks about that stock is not needed, the trips that they can earn, how to remain active, the tax rate on, you know, orders, shipping is free once it's $200. Your customers could pay with checks or cash, blah blah blah. It talks about the website, how it's free after 3 months. Literally, it talks about everything. And this is something because a lot of times when you chat with someone about the business opportunity, if you do not immediately get a scent in their nose or something for them to read, they're more than likely going to forget or they're not going to want to do it because the fear is going to start to creep in. So this is sort of just like a little buffer until we're able to chat next, okay? So I give them this, and then of course I always give them a sample. Blue Grotto, I love it. I always give them a sample, and I'll be honest with you, Blue Grotto, I know it's really popular. Everybody who I give this to loves it, and I feel like it's really good for things like opportunity packets because it smells so good. So even when you're on the way at the post office and you're delivering all your opportunity packets, like you're mailing them out, your postal workers are going to be like, oh my gosh, what's that smell? It smells so good. And you're going to be like, girl, it's Scentsy. And that's how you start to roll the conversation, okay? I actually recruited one of my postal workers. I love her. Her name's Yvonne. She's amazing. So anywho, but that's how, is because I was in there every day, you know, with my mail and she smelled it. So I know, information packet, okay? I give them a sample because it's the smell that sells. This was the reason that triggered me to join Scentsy when my sponsor gave me a small little tiny sample of pumpkin roll and I put it in one of my warmers and it made my whole house smell amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get on this. This is why you give them samples, okay? Something to evoke the memory. I also, in my opportunity packets, I give them scent circles because they're going to take a scent circle and they're going to hang it in their car. And then every time they get in their car, they're going to think of you and Scentsy, and it's going to stay on their mind, okay? Plus, it's just a cute little gift, and they're very inexpensive. Most parties that I close, I usually just get a 6-pack of scent circles, or I'll use a perpetual on it. You know, whatever. They're pretty inexpensive, but I literally sprinkle scent circles around like glitter. I give them to everybody and their mother. I love scent circles, but definitely give them, you know, that. And sometimes, or most times too, I'll put a handwritten note too or something, like depending on the conversation that we had, I'll say, hey Susie, it was so great chatting with you, you know, about, you know, the business opportunity. I know that you're really looking forward to joining Scentsy, and I can't wait to talk to you more about it, blah, 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 blah. You know, like something like that so that it's a little more personal from me. And I actually stick it in a clear catalog mailer that I got on the Scentsy Family store. You can use anything, and I literally just throw it in the mail like this. Sometimes I've heard people weren't getting this, so I'm like, oh man, maybe people are stealing it. So I started wrapping it in tissue. But either way, whatever works. You could even send it in a regular envelope. But opportunity packets are important. And then I follow up with them 2 to 3 days after I mail this out. Hey girl, did you get that goodie packet that I sent you? You know, what did you think about it? Let me know if you have any questions, you know, about whatever. And I try and like get an answer out of them. I'll kind of bring the why up again. If they say, oh, you know, I'm looking to make some extra cash right now, you know, we're super broke. Like then when I follow up with them, I'll be like, hey Susie, just checking in to make sure you got that little goodie packet. Let me know if you have any questions. I know that you were really interested in, you know, earning an extra income, and I think that Scentsy would be totally amazing for you. So let me know, you know, if you have any questions or whatever, and kind of like keep it going from there. Also, I will add people to my team page at times, okay? I used to, as I recruited, added everyone. Not like without asking them, but I'd be like, yeah, girl, let me add you to my team page. It's awesome. It's awesome. And then I found that being on our team page, because we have so much Scentsy spirit and everyone's getting shout outs and promoting and all this stuff, sometimes people coming into it, whether they are a visitor to your page or whether they are a new consultant, it's very easy to get discouraged because you feel like you need to be up to par with everyone else. So now I tell my team, add people to your page if you want. Of course, ask for their permission first. Do not ever just add anybody without asking, but use your discretion. So if someone, to me, I asked them what their Scentsy why was, and they said, oh, I'm just looking, I'd love to travel the world. I see you're earning all these free trips. I'm not going to add them to our team page because that's not going to benefit them at that moment. Once they join, then sure, I'll add them. But it's not really going to benefit them, and it really could make or break someone joining. I've seen it happen. I've had lots of people who literally decide not to after adding them to my team page. But if it's someone who's looking for friendships or a night out or girl time, like that, of course, are going to be the types of people that I'm going to add to my team page because I want them to see that sense of spirit. Also with people who are literally like, I'm joining yesterday type thing. If I have people who are like, I'm literally ready to join, I'm so excited, then I'll add them to the team page to kind of get them pumped up a little bit. But usually I use discretion. And if they go off of my team page, I also send them a thank you card too in the mail, like a day or two later. And I'll say something like, hey, Jenny, thank you so much for being a part of our team page. I know that you said that Scentsy's not, you don't feel like it's a good fit for you at this moment, and I want you to know I respect your decision. I believe that timing is everything, but I'm always here if you have any questions, and looking forward to chatting with you soon. Because I want to kind of keep, instilling that relationship, even though maybe they decided they didn't want to join or whatever, okay? And then everybody who's expressed an interest, I always follow up with them too. Anybody who's ever, give me a little small inkling that they were interested, like the girl at that home party, she didn't join that night, of course. Very rarely do people join on the spot. I've had it happen a few times, but other than that, like usually you're following up with people. So anybody who I've ever chatted with before, a week or two, not even a week or two, I would say maybe 3 to 5 days later after you see them, I would message them and be like, hey, just checking in. I know that we had a conversation about the business opportunity. I would love to sit down and talk about it with you more. That's kind of what I do. New thing that I do, and I know I'm rambling, we're coming up on an hour here almost, so thank you guys for hanging in with me. But a new thing that I do is, I never used to do this either. All my business opportunity calls that I have with people and all new consultants, I actually have FaceTime dates with them. I pull them on FaceTime and I'm like, yeah, girl, I'm going to FaceTime you. I'm going to go over everything. Because if you start recruiting a lot of people and you're doing this through text message, through Facebook Messenger, through whatever, you're going to find you're going to be repeating yourself a lot. You're going to have, like I said earlier before, I would answer a question for someone, then a few days would pass, and then I'd answer that question again when they had a question, and it sort of was very time consuming, especially as you start to recruit more people. So now when someone has questions about the business opportunity, I'm like, yes, girl, let's set up a call. I'd love to chat with you. I personally try for FaceTime because I want that face-to-face interaction, especially if they're not local to me. But a call would do just as well so that you can actually answer the questions for them right then there on the spot. You reassure their fears. You're very, you're straightforward with them and you explain how everything works. And it's kind of seals the deal a lot quicker, I find. And then even with my new consultants, when they get on, I do a full-on training with them on FaceTime, and I actually share my screen and I show them how to open and close a party, because I want to set them up on the right track as well, okay? What else do I do? Getting connected. One more thing that I do as far as getting connected with them. I love to utilize Facebook Voice Messenger, and I know that Carla and I actually recently talked about this. Facebook Voice Messenger is really awesome because translation often gets lost in writing. So how many times have you, texted somebody and, you were you thought that they were mad at you or whatever, but they weren't, but it was just because you were texting? Translation gets lost in writing. A lot of times, I'm very exaggerative when I text or I'm writing something to somebody. I use lots of exclamation points. I use lots of emojis. I know it sounds really silly in first world problems, but again, people are reading these things, so I want them to feel my energy, okay? So if I'm communicating with someone, I'm like, yes! A million exclamation points, or, hey girl, I'm so excited for you! Or even if I tell someone, thank you for placing an order, thank you so much, because even if it sounds dumb, a lot of times when people, I don't know if this happens to you or if it's just me, but through Facebook Messenger or text message when someone's just like, okay, TY. Like, that irks the ish out of me when someone says TY. It's like, you couldn't take 2 seconds to just type out thank you. Like, I don't know. That's just me. But, and I do understand that, like, life is busy and sometimes it's just quicker to do that, but I like to go the extra mile. I like to make sure I'm letting people know how excited I am, okay? But Facebook Voice Messenger I love because they can hear the tone in your voice. They can hear the sincerity in your, in your voice. And, that can make or break someone doing business with you because they hear you're a real person. Many times, I've had people message me through Facebook, like Facebook Marketplace or somewhere like a mom group that I've met them on, and then we started talking Scentsy, and then a few, conversation lines down, I'd voice messenger them, and I'd be like, yeah, we have bars there, buy 5, get the 6 for free, I'd love to help you place an order, so that they hear that I'm a real person. I think Facebook Voice Messenger is great. So the last thing that I have for you guys with 10 minutes to spare, again, thank you for hanging on, is to get over your fear. Okay, this is probably the most crucial thing that you need to understand when it comes to recruiting, okay? I told you I did not think I would recruit anybody when I first came into this business. I did not think I would have it in me. I had a small circle of, like, mommy friends on Instagram, and I was like, yeah, that's who I'll sell to. And I really did not think I had it in me to recruit anybody, really. So, anywho, I tell people, I do not as far as getting over fear, don't prejudge people. Like, never be like, oh, well, you know what, she's a single mom, so she probably just doesn't have the money, or she's working 2 jobs, there's no way she could, have the time to do this business. Like, you would never know, what someone's situation is. So don't ever just assume that they wouldn't be interested in this, because you just never know. Ask anyway. This is another thing too. Even if they said not right now, I always follow up with people. More often than not, they're going to say not right now, or they're going to ignore your message. I told you I'm robot status when it comes to following up, so I don't care how many times they ignore my message. I'm still going to message them. For people like that who kind of stringing me along, I'm not really on them like that because I don't want to come across desperate. But if we ever have like a $49 joint special or enhanced starter kit, like the promotions, then I'll reach out to them and I'll be like, hey girl, just checking in with you. I know we briefly chatted about you joining, the business opportunity, and I would love to, and I just want to let you know about this awesome promotion that we have going on, whatever, like I'll kind of just check in with them with that. I've had it where I follow up with people so much, and then all of a sudden they're ready. I don't know what it is, but timing is everything. So, it's happened before where it would be like a whole year later, and next thing you know, they're like, okay, yeah, I'm ready. And I'm like, what? It's like I've been talking to you about this for the longest time. But, like I said, timing is everything when it comes to recruiting, okay? And the very last thing I have for you is to follow up, okay? I've talked about this a few times tonight. Make sure that you are following up with every potential consultant that you have, or even every potential hostess, customer, reorders, referrals, events, fundraisers, anything. Like, you have to be following up in your business, because that is going to be the thing that's going to bring you forward. It's going to expand your business. Is literally following up with people, because you could, people are not obligated to come to us. So if you're not following up with them, you could literally be missing out on so much, and them missing out on so much. If you've had conversations where Scentsy could be so amazing for someone, and then you choose not to follow up with them, they decide to go with another direct sales company, or just not do anything in general, like, you're only robbing yourself from that, and them and their, their opportunity with Scentsy as well. So always make sure you're following up with people. So that's pretty much it. I forgot to mention, too, you guys, that I came into this business, and because I recruited, consistently, I actually promoted to director in 6 months. And that was because we started growing so much. And, if that's, a focus for you, if that's a goal, whether it's director or even, star, superstar, consultant, that's your next goal, doing these things, and I tell my team all the time, the best way that's going to help you get there is by recruiting, okay? Because a lot of times, you're going to, more often than not, the people who you recruit, it's very rare that somebody's, a leader. And so I see it happen where people get discouraged because the people who they're recruiting are not working, and therefore they're not promoting. I remember when we talked about not making it about you and making it more about them, and seeing how you could help them grow their business and you could help them be successful. Anyway, so point being is, you can't, you can't let that stop you. You have to always be continually recruiting, and always teaching your teams to do this too. And that's how we grew so fast, was because I started recruiting and I started showing my teams how to recruit, and then they started doing it, and then we just sort of just grown or whatever. But anyhow, so that's why I just wanted to bring that up. But I love it. I absolutely love this business. I love sharing the business opportunity. I love, helping other people be successful and helping other people see the vision with Scentsy, because it takes a long time, or it doesn't even take a long time, but it takes a certain type of person, I feel like, to see the vision with Scentsy. And it doesn't happen all the time. A lot of times people come into this and get very discouraged because it's not instant money. They're not getting it right away, and they don't understand that they have to actually work their business in order to be successful. So they get discouraged and then they stop, and I see that happen a lot. So anyhow, that's why recruiting comes into play. But I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I'm glad that we were able to chat here tonight. You guys can always message me or ask me questions if you'd like. You can add me on Facebook. I love meeting new Scentsy friends. And that's it. So thank you again to Carla so much for coming on our page. I love that. My team loves her, and your awesome training. And I will talk to you all later. Bye-bye.